Hello, my name is Rauno. I have lived and breathed the deposit systems for over 13 years, out of which 10 I have been the director of the Estonian deposit system. And now for the last 3 years, working with different countries, helping to understand and uncrack the deposit related issues. So our today theme is based on the management tool. Basically, we are talking about the IT system of a DRS and its different aspects. So let's get started. If we talk about the main tasks of a central IT system in the deposit system, naturally the idea is to create a virtual environment basically for the DRS, for its all business critical processes. It's also very important to provide the data exchange platform for various DRS technology themes. Is it the RVMs? Is it the equipment coming from the handling centers, meaning the industrial counting machines or industrial scales, to be linked to the central IT system to exchange data? So basically, data is definitely one major issue here. It's very important that the DRS IT platform is the secure place for the data warehouse, because the data in a DRS can be really massive and it has to be secure because all of the sensitivities are there regarding sales and returns. It's also a convenient contact point for the stakeholders in a DRS. Is it a retailer as a web solution for the retailers, or is it the producer's web solution that they can start the registration process of different packages, they can put the reports, etc. And in all deposit system central IT systems, it's very important to have the business intelligence linked to it. Basically, it's an analytics tool from one hand, yes, to do the reporting for government, etc. But basically, it's very important tool to help map fraud and prevent fraud issues. So it has a various functionality related to that. If we talk about the main data sets in the DRS, then from one hand, clearly it's the sales data, monthly data coming from the producers and importers regarding all of the packages put on the market previous month. So huge masses per each package, per each SKU, it's recorded, all of the quantities, etc. And then from the other side, it's the collection data coming from the RVMs and also from the manual collections. And the manual collections data-wise coming from the packages handling centers where the packages are recounted for security reasons. So, and putting this sales and collection data together, there are different return rate options that you can basically filter out in the system. Is it per single product, per product category, volumes, material types, you name it. So it's a very sophisticated return rates options to see. And that is actually something that the IT system does. It gives the full transparency for a DRS, which is one of the keys of a DRS. So to have every single package put on the market and every single package collected from the market tracked, which distinguishes it from other environmental systems, EPR systems, etc. So to continue, if we look at the main components of a central IT system, then there are several modules. The central IT system itself, that we will come back later. Then I already mentioned potential web solutions for producers, for retailers. For example, producers to give their monthly sales data, retailers to make orders regarding the supplies, meaning the bags that they use or containers that they use to collect and send all of the collected packages to the warehouses, to the handling centers. Then basically everything related to the infrastructure of the handling centers itself, like I already mentioned, industrial counting machines, scales, scanners, etc. This has to be linked and interfaced to the central DRS system, IT system. And then there is naturally the data management side, which is related to the collection infrastructure on the field as basically the RVMs. There is a platform for RVMs to communicate with the central IT system through a middle link. Basically, every week, new packages are put on the market and those packages are basically transferred to each RVM. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to collect. such new packages. And from the other side, it is a question about collection data. From the RVMs, all of this detailed collection data is downloaded to the central IT system, making the system much easier and with much less links in between or any papers, etc. And then if we talk about this massive data collected, then we have definitely the data warehouse linked to the system, which from one hand is a massive business warehouse, but it also has the business intelligence tools linked to it for reporting and anti-fraud measures toolkits, as already mentioned before. So we can call this kind of like a system intelligence package, which is linked to the central IT system. So if we talk about the core functionalities in or components in the central IT system, we talk about financial accounting, which is a relatively simple and country-based theme. Then we have the purchase and payables. We also have the sales part. In a DRS, IT infrastructure, sales basically means producers and importers as customers. And naturally, there are all kinds of different warehouses and logistics parts. For example, there are even 3 different layers of warehouses, like supplies, meaning the bags and containers for the collection. The raw material received packages are as one warehouse, and definitely the final product, basically already sorted and compressed ready material is a PT can, which is called the finished goods warehouse, and which is the absolute center of an IT solution here in the DRS is the packaging accounting. Basically, all of the different parameters of each package is put into this central layer, and it's kind of like the root of the plant, which the system is built on, or the system is built around. And naturally, the integration with different external systems. If we talk about the creation process of an IT system, then basically it starts with a related IT system processes analysis. Usually each country does it, where concrete country processes are mapped and put into the IT language, so to say, basically distinguishing the demands and descriptions for the IT system. Here you can just see a couple of examples from such an analysis on the left side, showing the road of the supplies, meaning the bags and the containers used for the collection through different layers. Is it the register? Is it the DRS? Is it the logistics company or collection point itself? You can basically on the left side see the whole cycle of one little process. So these processes are put into the view of the IT system, which helps a lot on the next steps. Or on the right hand, you can also define or need to define even up to the field codes, saying what are the fields to be distinguished, what each field means, etc. So it helps, it makes it much easier later to build the IT system and give input for the IT-related companies dealing with the implementation that we will get back to in a second. If we talk about the creation process, then basically after the analysis is done, basically the analysis is basis for the IT system creation tender process. And you have altogether, I think, roughly 3 options. Number 1, to create a DRS IT system from zero based on like some customized software, whatever language used, I mean IT language used to build it from scratch. Or you have an option to use already some packaged products like the ERP products, is it SAP, Microsoft Business Central, etc. Usually the Microsoft Business Central or some similar product is used. Or the third option is to create the IT system based on existing DRSs. So basically the existing country can come to help give you the core functionality, but we will come to this also in a second to elaborate in more detail. So these are the 3 options when basically creating the tender for the central IT system. In case of option 3, what is needed? New DRS design and the right processes are analyzed. Results are mapped against the existing DRS, And then basically you get a kind of like a match percentage, which means how much can you use of the current running deposit system, IT system to match your needs. Sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 80%, but the idea is that you could use up to 50 to 80% of some existing system to copy it into your country and to modify it for your own needs. So basically, if this solution is used, then existing IT system is copied to a new country servers, knowledge transfer is given, but naturally it is very, very important to have a strong local partner who takes the whole process over, because the local company does all the needed modifications, not just financial part, which is very much country specific, the accounting rules, etc., but also all of the missing parts are developed and then the system is modified. And then they take the full responsibility for the implementation and testing and for further on future running of the system and developing of the system. To our mind, or based on our experience, the sustainable IT system keys are clearly, it has to have a very transparent and predictable licensing policy to keep the costs under control, from one hand. It has the best of class development tools to meet all the changes, because deposit is not something that you just put deposit system that you put into place. It is something of an evolving matter, that you always have some development ideas, some development needs, and the IT system needs to be very flexible and quickly adopt to these. Otherwise, it will start to hinder the process's development. It has to have a flexible and open integration options with various external components. Basically, there are a lot of, as already mentioned, starting from industrial scales, ending with the RVMs, automatic reverse vending machines, that have to be integrated somehow to the central IT system. So basically, there have to be integration tools. The platform needs to be quite open. And naturally, it has to have a stable and secure data storage management. And already, I can't stress it enough, because I think anti-fraud measures is a very important thing within a DRS. It has to have really best of the class business intelligence tools to be used in order to deal with various reporting views, 360 degrees, as well as to basically find out the soft spots in a system to put your energy on regarding the different fraud aspects. So these are the keys to a sustainable IT system, and I hope this gave you a little bit of an overview of this quite complicated logic, but yet doable. So I wish you all the best in developing the system in Turkey. Thank you.